Hey guys, welcome to Boxing Squared for boxing news and views from around the internet. The rising Nigerian heavyweight Efe Ajagba, who's currently 13-0 with 11 knockouts, has officially signed with Top Rank. So he will be fighting on ESPN in 2020 for his first fight under this new deal. And that has been confirmed in the press release which has come out, which I'll get to the comments from Efe Ajagba and also Top Rank boss Bob Arum. But also, Efe Ajagba has a new trainer. He has left Ronnie Shields. He is now with Kei Karoma. We'll come to that soon as well. But first, getting to the press release, you can see here, this is the graphic from it. Talks about him signing, his turning pro in 2017, being an Olympian from Rio, then quoted as saying, "I made this decision to become a better boxer to advance my career. That's why I signed with James Prince in Top Rank. When I return to the ring soon, you will see a new Efe Ajagba. Kei Karoma and I are working on my head movement and defense as I seek to become a more well-rounded fighter." Then you have Bob Arum saying, "Efe Ajagba is one of the most gifted heavyweights I've seen in quite some time. He has immense physical tools and a great work ethic. I have the utmost confidence that we're looking at a future heavyweight champion." And the press release, it concludes talking about, 6'6", 240 pounds, one of the division's most intimidating physical specimens. And then it goes on to mention the Curtis Harper walkout in 2018, where Harper, because of a pay dispute, walked out of the ring when the first bell rung. So that gave Efe Ajagba the fastest victory in boxing history, but it did at the time mess up his KO streak. Since then, he's also gone the distance with Ali Demirjian, but I digress. So Efe Ajagba has left PBC behind. So he had been fighting on Fox cards more recently, and before that, he'd been on some Showtime cards. He'd been managed by Shelley Finkel. So seemingly Finkel is out the door. Obviously, he has left Al Heyman and PBC. But this signing with Top Rank, I guess once he did join on with James Prince, it looked like it would be inevitable. Remembering in the past year or so, Prince has signed Tony Yoka as well as Jarrell Miller, delivering both of them to Top Rank on new deals. Miller messed his one up, obviously. Yoka has yet to fight on ESPN because of the pandemic, but he is going to be fighting in France in the next couple of months and eventually heading over to the States to fight on ESPN. And for Ajagba, who lives in the United States, seemingly the sort of issue of fighting on a card somewhere in the States, not as much of an issue as it is for Yoka right now. So we will see him in 2020. And it's interesting. I mean, I would like a little bit more detail from Ajagba or someone involved closely with this. What's prompted this now? What is the real reason? I mean, it's boxing after all, so we can probably speculate. Perhaps money was involved. Maybe Prince just made Ajagba an offer he couldn't refuse. It's hard to say. He was being groomed in the PBC stable as their sort of next guy at heavyweight after the current crop. Think Deontay Wilder, Luis Ortiz, Adam Kovnarski, Charles Martin. All of those guys started to, sort of drop off. He was the natural heir apparent in that stable. And to be honest, I think he was brought along quite well at PBC. And I know some people who have an axe to grind with them will sort of disagree, but I think he was in the right fights at the right time. It became apparent that, maybe he was a bit rawer and not as far along as some people had hoped or expected. And I know at one point there was massive hype around Ajagba, but some of that has fallen off with recent performances. Not that he fought poorly, but it was clear that he had more to work on, and we'll come to the trainer change soon. But fights with Ali Demirjian, right fight at the right time. He got some valuable rounds in there, and there was a couple of thousand punches collectively thrown in that fight. So we got a good gauge that he does have a good engine, can throw a lot of punches, but it's become apparent in some recent fights he's also got some defensive frailties, doesn't move his head a lot, obviously gets hit a little bit. Razvan Kajanu was touching him up. He got dropped by Iago Kaladze when he had a lapse defensively, and obviously Demirjian was finding the target often too. So it is one of these things. I think more recently the matchmaking has been better for him. So I'd like to see that continue at Top Rank, because it's clear he's still a work in progress. You can't rush him into bigger fights too soon, because unlike guys like a Joe Joyce, Daniel Dubois, Tony Yoka, for example, I think Ajagba needs more seasoning before he takes a step up to some of the guys that Dubois and Joyce, they're facing each other, and Yoka's going to be facing Johan Dorper. I think that Ajagba needs more Razvan Kajanu's, early Aaron Demarations at this point. He's referenced there that his head movement needs work and needs improvement, that they're going to be working on that. And Kei Karoma, he is a very good coach. He was the 2016 Olympic coach. He's the USA Boxing national coach and he's a professional trainer, obviously, and he has been before named as USOC Development Coach of the Year. And there was a post on social media a few days ago on Efe Ajagba's Instagram. See here, it says, much love to Kei Karoma for blessing my game. And at the time, I thought, has he left Shields? What's going on here? Is he now with Kei Karoma, or had he just been training in that gym? It wasn't entirely clear that was an announcement they were working together, but now we know. And Kei Karoma, I guess the most high-profile fighter that he's working with at the moment is Michaela Mayer. But he is a good trainer, and clearly he can bring fighters along and develop them from the amateur scene. So we'll see what he can do with Efe Ajagba, because I think under Ronnie Shields, there's been obvious improvement. He has been getting better. He has been working on things. He just hasn't been a 1-2. He's been starting to throw a better variation of punches. He's been trying to be better defensively. Obviously, it hasn't always worked. But I think Shields, the relationship that they've been training together for a few years now. I think that was a good relationship. We possibly don't know why they've split here and he's gone to Karoma. Maybe it's about money. Maybe it's about where he's going to be basing himself. He has been based in the Houston area. I don't know if he's going to continue to live there. Primarily, he was living there because he was training with Shields. So it'll be interesting to see his progression with Karoma, the defensive stuff, his frailties, especially with the lack of head movement and being considered a bit stiff and upright, although being a very good puncher with a good engine. The straight punches are pretty devastating at times. He is a good fighter. I know some people have eased off him in terms of how they see him and where he can go and, his progression, and some people have just completely written him off. But he's still a guy, I believe, that does have upside. I've been seeing improvement, so I don't think there's any reason to say that he can't continue to improve. And sometimes a change of trainer can sort of get more out of a fighter. So we will soon see with Kei Karoma. I'm not mad at him working with Karoma and having left Shields. I mean, sometimes these things just happen in boxing. I will be interested to see who they match him with next. He's moving into a stable where he has some other young heavyweights alongside him. Tony Yoka is sort of a comparable guy who's at much of the same level in terms of opposition that they've faced so far. And actually, they have a common opponent in Mikhail Wallish. Also at Top Rank, you have Ajit Kabayel. He's maybe a bit further along than Ajagba at the moment. And some young guys coming through. Another Olympian, Guido Vianello, Sonny Conto, and also the 20-year-old Jared Anderson. So there is some regeneration going on at Top Rank right now. And that's something they do well, developing prospects, bringing them through, and looking at sort of succession planning. Not all of these guys in their stable are going to pan out, but one or two of them will end up being, very good heavyweights contending at a very good level for, years to come. So I wait with interest to see what happens next with Ajagba with this new deal, signing on to Top Rank. When will he be out? What do you make of it all? Drop a comment, loud and often. Hit like, hit subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, boxing_squared. I'm out.